The film begins with a story set in 1988 in the town of Shadyside, where students are enthusiastic about the upcoming party and school queen election. However, Lori, a beautiful girl, is worried because, according to rumors, Shadyside is a cursed city, and according to its history, horrors will definitely occur if there is a party, like the tragedy that occurred 10 years ago. Nevertheless, Lori, who had also applied to be a candidate for school queen, tried to focus on this event so that she could win over the other students.
Lori Granger, the final candidate.
In the middle of the lesson, the teacher, Joseph, tried to warn the candidates about having a good vision and mission. The school queen must be the pride and mascot of her school. Then, Joseph pointed to Lori and asked her to share her vision and mission. However, Tiffany bullied her, saying that Lori, the criminal child, would not be able to win the election. Megan, Lori's best friend, was fed up with Tiffany's behavior. Apparently, it was all just a prank to scare Tiffany. Joseph immediately dismissed the class and took Megan to the BK room to punish her. Long story short, the scene shifts to Christy, one of the school queen candidates. However, it turns out that Christy is a drug user.
Right.
After getting the drugs, Christy went straight home by herself. Christy walked home alone. But along the way, Christy was surprised to hear someone seeming to target her. Christy was suddenly killed by a psychopath wearing a red raincoat. Do you think this red raincoat motif is what killed Christy? The next day, Tiffany and Debbie Paget were happy to hear that Christy had been declared missing. Thus, they had one less rival. This gave the group a great chance to win the school queen election. However, they became frustrated when they saw Linda, one of Christy's friends, busy promoting herself with leaflets.
With the prom candidate.
When the bell rang, Joseph asked the candidates to gather in the hall. The others were asked to enter the classroom immediately.
Let's go up to the stage. Miss Rogers, back or she is disqualified. Class.
In the hall, Vice Principal Lily informed Christy that she would be disqualified from the election. She decided that Christy was not serious about running. However, as we know, Christy died at the hands of a psychopath. After saying this, she immediately started the dress rehearsal. In short, the scene shifts to Tiffany preparing for the party. Soon after, her mother, Nancy, encourages her, believing she will win the school queen contest. However, we see that Lori and Tiffany have been neighbors with the typical motherly rivalry of the complex all this time. At that time, Lori's mother, Rose, tried to encourage her. Knowing that Lori was often bullied, Rose reminded her to never pay attention to the insults.
You look beautiful.
Senior prom, the night we've all been bringing you all the drama and excitement. The race seems wide open for Tiffany to Can she win over the student body? And
Class of '88 to your senior prom!
In a short time, Lily opened the event in the middle of the party crowd. She announced that the election for queen would take place at the end of the event. Before the party started, she asked all the candidates and their partners to go on stage. Suddenly, Lily was surprised by the Tiffany group, who did not go on stage. Tiffany and her group made a breakthrough in a bikini-clad setting, winning the attention of the students, especially the men. After the erotic dance ended, Lori was afraid that people would start paying attention to the Tiffany group. Upon hearing this, Megan asked Lori to calm down, assuring her that the people in this place were easily influenced. We just need to wait for the right time to attract their attention. Then, the scene turned to Linda and her boyfriend, Bobby.
Nice and sweet doesn't get you anywhere. Nice girls don't win.
Then, Linda became annoyed when someone cut into pieces the distribution of her candidacy. Feeling that the culprit was still nearby, an annoyed Linda rushed to confront her.
Jesus, Linda, you scared me.
My God!
Bobby was shocked when he saw his girlfriend get killed by someone wearing a red raincoat. Unfortunately, Bobby will have to meet his girlfriend in the afterlife. Back at the party, Lori was surprised when Tiffany's boyfriend Tyler approached her. Tyler was unexpectedly smitten by her beauty. Suddenly, in the middle of the conversation,
Who is responsible for this?
Na eta si Kupoy!
everyone thought it was just a prank. And of course, you know Megan did it. At that time, Mrs. Lilly told all the students not to do anything outside the rules, or the election would be canceled.
You're freaks.
A few moments later, Megan apologized, explaining that she only wanted to liven up the event. Upon hearing this, Lori asked Megan not to do anything that would scare everyone because this was not a Halloween party.
Look at her.
Meanwhile, still in shock, Debbie Paget was suddenly approached by her boyfriend, Demian. He invited her to a quiet place, saying he wanted to give her a gift. When Debbie Paget arrived at the basement, she felt that Demian wanted to rape her there again, but she emphasized that it would never happen again. When Demian was rejected, he immediately gave her a gift. However, Debbie was immediately happy when she was given the limited edition necklace. As if she had forgotten her refusal, her desire to sin flared up suddenly. Debbie was shocked when she heard a noise behind the shelf, but Demian thought it was just Jerry's voice. Suddenly, though,
Oh my God!
Debbie was shocked when she saw Demian's disfigured face. Debbie panicked and tried to escape in the midst of the shock. Finally, Debbie Paget, the school queen candidate, died after being electrocuted by a high-voltage current. A few moments later, Lori was shocked when Tiffany stopped her. Apparently, Tiffany could not accept the accusation that Lori stole her crush. Melissa came at that moment and tried to break up their argument. However, Tiffany was not satisfied and suddenly insulted Lori's family, calling them murderers and a disgrace to the city. Hurt, but not wanting to cause trouble, Lori chose to ignore it. Melissa felt that what Tiffany said was too much until after Lori left. A few moments later, Melissa arrived and tried to calm Lori down. Then, feeling sorry for her, she immediately gave her the makeup tools. A few moments later, Melissa was impressed by Lori's stunning makeup. But then, in the middle of their chat, Tiffany returned and, as usual, made a spicy remark. Then she told Melissa never to feel sorry for Lori.
Now you're talking to me.
Hey, leave me alone.
Hey!
You're a monster.
Then they were shocked when they saw Tiffany fighting with her friend. Thinking it would be interesting, DJ Cassette held a dance battle to liven up the party. During the festive event, the scene shifts to Melissa, who has just changed clothes. Then, suddenly, Melissa was shocked when she suddenly saw a mysterious figure wearing a red raincoat.
What, did Megan put you up to this?
Unexpectedly, it turned out that there had been two psychopaths all along. Melissa resigned herself to her fate.
Take these dogs.
What a waste. The beautiful Melissa had to die so young. Back at the party, the voting begins. Those attracted to Lori immediately vote for her and put their ballots in the provided box. At that moment, a stressed Tiffany tries to ask Tyler to dance. Tyler, fed up with Tiffany's behavior, immediately refuses and ends their relationship. On the other hand, when Megan was with Joseph, Ryan approached them and asked about Melissa's whereabouts.
Anywhere.
What the fuck?
Then, Megan was surprised to see that almost none of the candidates for School Queen were in the hall. Meanwhile, Tyler invites Lori to have sex behind an empty theater. However, she immediately refuses, as she is not a cheap girl like the others.
My God!
Much to Lori's surprise, Tyler died after a psychopath stabbed his crown. Shocked, Lori panicked and tried to escape as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, Megan, who was curious, was seen searching for missing people in the school basement. Amidst the panic, Lori, who is being chased by a psychopath, asks Megan to run away immediately. Their efforts were thwarted when the psychopath locked the basement door. Amidst the confusion, they hurried to find another way out. Luckily, they still had time to escape. But in the middle of a dark room, they were shocked to find out that this psychopath was targeting the School Queen candidates, of whom only Tiffany and the other girls were left. Then, suddenly,
There's a window! There's a window!
her legs were almost amputated. Now they were rushing back to the hall to tell everyone. Meanwhile, the principal was preparing to announce the School Queen.
I am delighted to announce Lori Granger.
Unexpectedly, Lori was elected School Queen. Tiffany was also upset when she heard the news. However, amid the chaos, Lori tried to share the horror of the psychopath currently targeting her.
You psycho!
Lori Granger.
No! Something's happening with...
The psychopath's brutal actions finally stopped after the crown shone on him.
We got him!
Daddy!
It turns out that Tiffany's father, Hayden, is a psychopath. After being forced to become Hatake Kakashi, Hayden said that he did all this just to make Tiffany the champion, even though he had to kill all the school queen candidates. Nancy, disappointed with her husband, was shocked by this news and intended to report it to the police. Shortly after the evacuation, Hayden was captured and taken immediately to the police station. Then, Nancy, who was on her way home, was forced to undergo interrogation. Meanwhile, Tiffany was allowed to go home. Lori, worried about Tiffany's condition, told Nancy he would accompany her until she returned. On the way home, Tiffany apologized for everything she had done. She felt embarrassed and realized that Lori had a good heart. Upon hearing this, Lori decided that their competition had to end immediately. Nancy had just come home and was planning to do something in the middle of the night. It's a crazy family. As it turns out, Nancy is the second psychopath who acted with her husband. Now, unable to accept her daughter's defeat, she intends to kill Lori. Meanwhile, Lori wakes up in her room when she hears footsteps. Amidst her confusion, Tiffany said that this was all a setup so that she and her mother could finish the truck at her house. When Lori was cornered, Nancy said that if they were the Falconer family, they should be number one in all areas, including Tiffany, who should win the school queen contest. However, since Lori had won, Nancy only needed to eliminate her so that her daughter would be number one. Upon hearing her mother's words, Tiffany asked for permission to do it herself. Tiffany, the psychopathic child, died from a house decoration. Upon seeing her beloved daughter die, Nancy immediately vented her anger. Eventually, Lori causes Nancy to have a severe migraine. Because Nancy has high blood pressure, the migraine is fatal and causes her death.